Basically, I just got the call of a house fire received from the dispatch. Upon my arrival, I asked were there any occupants or anything in the house. Dispatch advised that at that particular time that everybody was out of the house. Well, once I responded and got up to the front yard, there were actually the residents screaming, saying that they were still trapped inside. Upon that, I went to the back, saw the back of the house fully engulfed. At this point, I'm trying to figure out how to get in the house because there are still two people, and now I'm hearing them scream. So then I was able to come to the front of the house, where I still heard the screaming of a male subject. From that point, I walked up to the front of the door, walked in, where I saw one of the guys who was later identified as Jason Johnson, who actually passed out at the front of the door. I was able to pull Jason from the house onto a stoop in front of the house, which then he told me that his grandfather was still in the house. At that time, I then went back into the residence, where at that point I could not see, but tripped over him, and he started talking to me, and he said, "Help me, get me out of here, please." At that point, I pulled him up, and he kept falling on me because he said that he had some back injuries. At this point, I tried to pull him again, and he told me to just wait, and I told him, "No, we're not gonna die tonight, we're gonna get out of here. Toughen it up." And I actually grabbed him by his arms, and I pulled him out, and was able to pull him out on a stoop. And at that point, that's when another officer and several other family members then came over to that side and helped me move him further away from the house. And at this point, then the neighbors and the residents told us that there were dogs inside of the garage, which you can then hear the dogs howling. The gang unit then arrived and helped the officers get into they kicked the door down because it was actually fully engulfed. And they were able to see the dogs that were in the corner. It was an Alaskan Husky and a Pit Bull. At this point, they were able to get closer to the dogs. Officer Stewart and several other gang guys were able to pull the dogs out. One dog who showed no signs of life was there, and there was another Alaskan Husky that they actually pulled out as well, and Officer Stewart began CPR on the dog. At this point, we were able to contact the fire department, which then came over and gave the dog oxygen, and the dog survived.
What happened was, I was sleeping upstairs, and my nephew came up and got me, and he said the laundry room's on fire. So I run downstairs. We had fire extinguishers right next to the laundry room door, and I opened it up to see if we can put it out, and flames just poured right out. Well, at that time, my grandpa didn't realize it was so bad. He turned and went deeper into the house. So I went after him. But as we got into the hallway, flames overtook the hallway, and it just poured with the whole house filled with smoke at that point. And I'm trying to drag him out. My grandfather's disabled. We ended up getting down on our hands and knees and crawled to the door. My grandpa was holding my ankle and crawling behind me as I'm clearing the path for us to get out. By the time I made it to the door, I was so winded and there was no fresh air in there. I barely made the door open and it collapsed.
She's an angel. If it wasn't for her, we would not have them. She's a godsend. I can't even think about it because we would not have them at this moment if it hadn't have been for her. She went straight on her own and went straight in there with no qualms whatsoever and brought them both back out. I can't even look at her without feeling how blessed we are that she came and helped us. She saved them.
What I knew is I can hear people still alive, and in my mind I said they're going to still be alive at the end of this. And that's when I just went in there and just grabbed them out. Of course, everything sunk down after that, but yeah, the adrenaline kicked in, and like I said, I was just doing my job. I was doing my job.